For you, it's evening when you watch this, but for me, it's the morning. But regardless, hello and welcome to Season 2 of Thursday Night Throwdown. Casey Andrews could not be here today because he had important stuff to take care of. Specifically, his doggo had to go to the vet, and we know how important that is to take care of our pets. This mad dog knows a thing or two about taking care of a dog. I ain't taking care of this dog at all. I'm falling apart. It's a broken down piece of meat, as the movie says. I'm going to be going it alone, and I know you folks are clamoring after I announced on Tuesday Night TalkDown that Braydon Goss was taking a break from Big West and was relinquishing the television title. I know you want to hear what's happening on August 15th, but guess what? This is the Throwdown, and you're going to have to wait, because if I told you right now, you just click off. And I mean, that'd be great for my views, but then you wouldn't have seen anything. And of course, the show ends with the big title match from last year that Thrash Wrestling had for us. Big West Wrestling title on the line at a Thrash Wrestling event in West Kelowna. Braydon Goss against the veteran Vance Nevada. And we'll get to that later, so you just gotta wait, don't you? I have the microphone, and you will listen to everything I have to say. As one Mr. Sandler said once in one of his few movies that were good. Okay, I don't have a co-host, so I'm flying blind, and I may be all over the place. In fact, this is already take 2, which we'll get to later, because there's an important point of that. Let's get to it right away. First thing, we'll go through the matches. We'll discuss the voting first, though. This is how the voting works this year. Maybe it's the Cider House rules, if you want to call it that. I wouldn't, but you can. Personally, I think it's funny. But this is the way it's going to be. It's not just fan voting, because I love the Fanily and it's great for viewership, but it is dominating to the point where people don't want to take part in TalkDown because they know they are going to get obliterated by the internet Goldberg that is Justin Cider. And it's not going to help Justin Cider get better as a promo guy if he just wipes the floor every week. There's no reason for him to grow. Although he is very talented. But the whole point of anyone being a talented promo guy is you want to get better and better and better and not rest on your laurels. The way the voting works this season, it is a 5. I got till 5, ref. 5-point process. Fan vote is 1/5. The Big West Crew vote, there's a private Big West Crew page on Facebook that's super hush-hush secret, even though I just told you about it. That's 1/5. Casey Andrews is a 5th, I am a 5th, and then every week we will have a super secret mystery judge that we're not going to tell you who it is, so you can't coerce them and you can't harass them later. Their anonymity protects them, but it'll be someone involved in some way in Big West Wrestling. Won't be anyone involved with the promos. Anyway, so that's the 5. Okay? And so let's get right to it. First match, Destro the Eskimofo against Malik Mello. As per the rules, you lose to the champ, you open the next show, and Destro had his big shot in the Season 2 finale. I thought it was his best promo of the season, and he failed. Miserably, not his problem. The finale, like I said, is a wrecking ball. Just like Miley Cyrus. I really need a co-host to keep me on track here. Destro did a great job at the end of last season. He has to open the show again against the smooth as smooth can be Malik Mello. Malik Mello has a great promo style. He has a great confidence. And if you've met him in real life, he has got the size. And if he can put together the skill to match the rest, he will be a killer package on the Pacific Northwest wrestling scene sooner rather than later. And I personally look forward to having him in a Big West ring at some point. Destro, Eskimofo, these are my notes. I felt Destro had the promo of the week. He came out swinging, firing all cylinders, ready to go. Malik Mello, cool as ever. Like I said, I love his delivery. I love that casual smirk he's got. He's a very charismatic young man. I felt this week he went a little long, which is a little bit out of his wheelhouse. Also, he had a good idea in theory with the Jericho Conan thing, but I think it got away from him a little bit and kind of fell apart. It was a brilliant idea. Execution needs some work. And what I like about this is with this promo show, there was no bad promos this week. Hasn't been a bad promo for forever. It's a lot like wrestling. Got a lot of young guys that are talented and just need to be fine-tuned. And I feel like TalkDown is the same way. So the way the voting went, like I said, Malik, you had a good idea. You got a great delivery. Don't take this personally. Don't let this discourage you. But the fan vote, Dez by a lot. The locker room vote, Dez by a lot. KC picked Dez. I picked Dez. Our mystery voter picked Dez. Malik, you've got a boatload of potential. Keep plugging away, brother. You're on the right track. Dez, don't let it go to your head, except now that I've already announced you swept the voting, I just know that your head just went boof. And you'll make some 3 a.m. post on Facebook about how great you are. We know this. You know you're going to do it. Anyway, let's move on to match number 2. Team Security implodes, or is implosion in, so it's like crumpling? You can't even see my hands. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Is implosion? Explosion? Why? I need a leash. Okay. Casey Peak, Jeff Christie. They battle it out. Now, if you take part in Millennium Pro, similar but different idea. There's no voting over there. There's just one overlord named Ewan, and he's a good guy. I say that because he books me as a unbeatable veteran superstar. So you're a good guy, Ewan. Much respect. Casey and Jeff, they battled it out over there, and they both become a lot more comfortable cutting promos. Casey, if you see him over Millennium Pro, he swears like a sailor, and it is a bit of a shock. But he tidies it up here, and I appreciate that. This one, I think my issue is that they become so comfortable with the microphone that they may be a little too comfortable. This just came off as casual conversations, and sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. This one kind of felt by both of them that they kind of just did one take, called it a day, moved on with their lives. And that's not how promos work. You do it again and again. And in fact, like I said earlier, this whole show I'd recorded it and walked the dog, didn't like what I was thinking I had done, and scrapped the whole thing and started again. Jeff, you did that. I'm going to bust you right off the top, and I love you, kid. But
Big West Wrestling.
You forgot what Big West Wrestling's name was, which is fine. It happens. I've had 20-some concussions. I forget a lot of names and a lot of things. The second that happens, the second you'd make a weird pause or an or an ah, stop. Cut it out. If you have the editing tools, edit it. If you don't, start again. It's not going to kill you. This is super easy stuff. But both of you guys did a good job. Like I said, maybe a little too casual. What happened here with the voting is I've got the votes right here. Fan vote, Jeff. And it was tight. The locker room was a draw, and that one was tight too. Casey picked Jeff. I picked a draw because I just felt both of you could do better. It reminds me of grade 11 French class. I'd always been an A student in French. In fact, I won a French award in grade 9, not to toot my own horn. And in grade 11, I got a B. Even though I had an A, teacher gave me a B, so I would try harder in grade 12. Joke was on her, because I was just using grade 12 to get the best grades possible, to get a scholarship to go to university far away in New Orleans, Louisiana. So I skipped French all completely in grade 12. Joke was on her. Joke's also on me, because I can barely speak French. C'est la vie. Tabarnak! I am distracted. Alright, so back on track here. I chose a draw. Both you guys need to work a little bit harder next week, next time. We'll have a rematch later. And you'll get there, and you'll show us how you improved. And then the super secret fifth judge also picked a draw, so it's a draw. Only the second draw. It's going to be easier to have ties this year. Like I said, c'est la vie. Match number 3. Mean Machine Sr. versus that disturbing little entity that is Sky. Sky exploded. Like we said, Season 1 finale. Took out Casey Anders in his own game. Made him finish a distant second. Even he admitted that he was blown out of the water. He did not have a chance. Would Mean Machine Sr. have a chance? Mean Machine Sr. is a vet. He can deliver a promo just like that. He may have phoned that one in a little bit. He's a little bit rusty. He's been sitting around doing nothing for a while. Might take him a little bit to get back on his game plan. But you know what? Sky is just firing on all cylinders. A little bit of an audio issue, and we'll get that fixed. And Here's my prediction right now, is before Season 2 is done, I believe Sky will be your internet champion. She has the most potential out of anybody out there. And if you don't like what I'm saying, up your game. Because a teenage girl is putting you all on notice. Deal with it! Okay, voting. 5 across the board. Fans, locker room, Casey Andrews, myself, mystery guest, 5-0. Decimating, destructive win. Sky is on the winning track to start Season 2. Congratulations, young lady. Please stay the heck out of my nightmares. I'll vote for you regardless. Okay, you're haunting me, and it's unfair. All right, Jack Pride, Sleazy Steve. This is where the new votes come into play. Foreshadowing. Dun, dun, dun! Jack Pride, first of all, your hair grew back fast, and you look great. I love it. I love the leather jacket. I'm not sure how a leather jacket and a hoodie works in summertime in Alberta. I'm assuming it's not snowing in Alberta right now. Sleazy Steve, we thought you were done, and then you have joined the DWO. Eye roll emoji.
Shut up and sit down.
But hey, you know what? It's inspired you, invigorated you, and you cut a very energetic promo. Here's my thing. I love Jack's editing. I love how he punctuates certain things and the camera kind of jumps. It's not Kevin Dunn style where it jumps too much, but I like that when he says certain words and then it's here. It's over there and then it's here and then it's back here. And I like that stuff. It's good editing. And we can argue about whether editing should be in a promo or not. We'll get to that in the main event, but you know what? It is what it is. It's creativity. It's what you have at your disposal. I'm not judging it solely on editing, because Jack Pride has a good editing team. But I also like Jack's delivery. I think the character's gone a certain way. There was a weird little bit at the end where he kind of was struggling, I think, to keep Jack contained, and I like it. We'll see where it goes. We got a lot of Season 2 to go through this. Steve is always smooth with his delivery. The voting on this one, I'll say this, best promo battle of the week. This was the closest one of the week as far as being close and exciting. Like, if this was a match, I want to see this. I'm coming to see this one. Fan vote was Sleazy Steve. The locker room vote was Sleazy Steve. Both Casey and myself chose Jack Pride, and our super secret voter also chose Jack Pride. So this is where the fan vote doesn't always get you what you want. Steve, you are the first victim of the new voting system, and you got beat 3-2. I'm sure the DWO will hack another show and punish me for that, but bring it! Let's go on now to the main event. Lance Skulls with another crack at the title versus Justin Sider. Now, as a promoter and a booker, I try to put things together in wrestling that I think will be good and cool and interesting and creative. Every booker and promoter does it. Sometimes it's a home run. For example, K5 Medallion, home run. Also stolen from Chris Jericho, but what hasn't been? The match on July the 4th between Draven Andrews and Grant Sale, I watched the both of them and how they throw their punches and how they work, and I thought, you know what? These two guys might have a fun little match, and it turned out they stole the show and had the July match of the month. And blew everybody away. And now suddenly, and I love this, Dre was already on people's radar, Grant Sale is now on people's radar, and that's what we want. We want these young guys to get on the radar, and we want veterans to go, hey, I want to work with that kid. I see potential. And that match was exactly what I wanted it to be. However, also on that show, I had this brilliant idea for a live promo battle because Justin Sider has some good editing skills, and I wanted to just take it all away, bare bones it, old school, just cut a promo in the ring, and you saw it. The fans weren't really on board with my vision. And you know what? The fans are ultimately the ones that make the final decisions, and it wasn't my best idea. I did show that under pressure, Justin Sider can deliver, and Lance Skulls maybe needs a little bit of work. And I love pointing out that Lance Skulls sometimes needs a little bit of work because it drives him crazy. Alrighty, so here we go. The big one here. The fans chose Justin. The Fanally rises again, swept him. One vote for a draw. Other than that, blew him out of the water. Locker room, Justin. Lance Skulls even admitted Justin. Casey picked Justin. I decided to draw because I just felt that while they both did the best they could, it just didn't work. And you can blame me, but you know what? At the end of the day, I gave them an opportunity, and I'm going to call draw. I call it like I see it, draw. And our super secret mystery voter also picked draw. Justin, you retain the title. I have a better idea for live, and maybe we'll try it again on August 15th. It won't be live in the ring because, in all honesty, fans just want to see wrestling. And sometimes we forget that and we cut too many promos, even though we watch TV wrestling and guys cut too long of promos when we flick the channel. So we forget sometimes. We all have brain damage and we do things that we shouldn't do. Speaking of brain damage, I'm completely off track here. One thing I want to interject here is one of the comments on social media was from Jordy Taylor, who is on the cusp of making a huge splash on the Pacific Northwest wrestling scene. He's been on that cusp for a while and he's set to explode. Not just emotionally as usual, or vocally, but wrestling-wise as well. He made a point, I've got the quote right here, and he said about the promos this week, more building up opponents, less tearing them down, and that is Wrestling 101. If you call your opponent a loser, a fat old man, a nobody, and you beat a loser or a nobody, who'd you beat? Nobody. And if you call your opponent a loser or a nobody and he beats you, what does that make you? Things to ponder. Excellent point by the OGB, Jordy Taylor. Alrighty, we've done all the stuff. Your winners, Destro the Eskimofo, Sky, Jack Pride from behind. Justin Sider retains the title in the big draw. Team Security, they tied it up, literally and figuratively. Casey Peak and Jeff Christie with the draw. That'll affect the rankings. We'll make new match announcements later on Big West Wrestling itself on Facebook. Don't forget to follow us there. Don't forget to follow the website. We'll get it back updated soon. Twitter, Big West Okanagan. We don't update it enough, but we update it sometimes. Don't forget, look up Big West Wrestling on Pro Wrestling Tees as well. We're going to make a phone call to Brainbuster. Hint, hint. Call me. We'll do something there too. Alright, let's get to the special stuff. Before we get to the match, you want to hear the rest of the stuff. I made you wait long enough as I went blah-bitty-blah, my jibbity-jabber. What are we doing August 15th? Initially, the show was called Yearn for the Cup. It's going to be the Okanagan Cup Tournament. It is still the Okanagan Cup Tournament, but with the title vacant and Braydon Goss out. And now, breaking news, Camaro Cope is also out of the tournament because he has a wedding to attend to. Not his. This is not some crazy Cope shotgun wedding, although I'm sure that's how he'll get married. He's going to a family friend's wedding that's very important to him, and we respect that stuff. Family is important. Mental health is important. Respect is important. Human safety and dignity is important to us at Big West Wrestling. We care about all this stuff. And Cope needed the day off. He got the day off. This isn't the old school work 300 days a year and you need a day off and you get fired by FedEx. I'd send an email. Anyway, August 15th, it is now called Winner Take All. For only the second time, for the first time since 2012, the winner of the Okanagan Cup will also be Big West Wrestling Television Champion. The first guy to do it, ironically, my co-host who is not here and letting me fly by the seat of my pants, Casey Andrews. He finished in the finals of the 2011 first ever Okanagan Cup, lost to Black Dragon. He then went on to beat Black Dragon in the first round of 2012 and ultimately beat an injured Colin Cutler to win the TV title, and that also kicked off a violent feud between Kyle Sebastian and Colin Cutler that ultimately led them to be brothers in arms as Cougar Meat. Wrestling is weird that way. So this tournament, it has initially it was going to be 12 men, then 11 men, then 9, then now it's 10. And what's going to happen here is there is a weighted system, as you're about to see here on the screen. Both Ace Redmond Jr. and Chucky Lee Ray got a first-round bye because they are former television champions. Camaro Cope and I were supposed to meet in the top, just like Hogan Andre at WrestleMania 4, with a big bye all the way to the semis, because we're the only two people to have won the title and the Okanagan Cup in this tournament with Cope out. You know what? This old dog hasn't had a shot at the television title in years, so I bumped myself all the way there. You want to get to the finals, you got to work hard and go through me, as you see. We also cribbed from our friends at Pacific Pro Wrestling down in Abbotsford. I like the way they think. They've got some creative ideas. We have a big tag match. Draven Andrews and Beef Boy are going to take on Grant Sale and Jordy Taylor. The winning team will meet in the quarters and then go on to fight me in the semis. The losing team has to fight another qualifier to get into the quarterfinals, where they will face Ace Redmond Jr. And then our other two guys in the tournament, Sebastian Wolf and Todd Quality, they have been talking smack on the internet, really getting each other's face on social media. So you know what? Duke it out, dudes! And the winner can move on to face Chucky Lee Ray. There are rumblings off in the distance. I thought it was thunder. Turns out it may be giant footsteps. I don't know what it means just yet, but as we get closer to that show, TalkDown and Throwdown, we will keep you posted. But there may be another surprise. Anything can happen in Big West Wrestling. Anything can happen in pro wrestling if you've not been paying attention over the past several months and weeks. Everything is changing. As Bob Dylan said, the time they in. Alrighty, that's enough for me talking. I'm about sick of myself. I'm sure you're sick of me too. Let's get to the special feature. West Kelowna. Big West Television title on the line. The blonde bomber Braydon Goss against the veteran Mr. Beefy Goodness Vance Nevada. Television title on the line. And we'll see you next week.
For this Big West Wrestling television title match, introducing first, the challenger, hailing from Brandon, Manitoba, weighing in tonight at 225 pounds, Mr. Beefy Goodness, Vance Nevada! And your reigning and defending Big West Wrestling television champion, he hails from Summerland, British Columbia. Official for this match will be Colton G for this Big West Wrestling Television Championship title bout. Right here in West Bank, British Columbia, Canada, at Thrash Wrestling's Running Roughshod. Our official Colton G holding high. What's on the stake here for this match?
I can see these ladies are all excited that they get to be in close proximity to you.
I don't care about the girls, really. I don't.
Don't like the girls, huh?
Nah, I don't care about cars, homie.
Food! My answer is food.
At least you say
I got cars, bro.
My favorite mom is not you. My favorite mom is
Looks like Mr. Beefy Goodness wants to start things off with a handshake.
Clean handshake, yeah!
Clean handshake. Seen a lot of things in Thrash Wrestling. You don't see that very often. Vance Nevada down to the outside, getting reevaluated his strategy. The people have spoken. Falls up with an arm breaker. Shot to that shoulder blade. Falls up with another. Once again, taking up to the top wrist lock is the former Braydon Goss, reigning and defending Big West Wrestling Television Champion. Challenger able to grab the ropes, hosting our official Cold G call for break.
Hello, ropes! You break that hold! This is your last warning, man.
first lock of zone. Ranking away is the champion. Challenger Vance Nevada looking for a way out of this predicament. He is a savvy veteran and reversing the hammerlock. Vance Nevada, the champion. Reversal of Goss into a hammerlock of his own. Yeah, the reversal was supposed to be for goodness. He's got that hammerlock cinched in on the champion Goss.
I'm gonna break this arm, I swear to God.
Reversal of Goss puts that on your blade again. Come on!
I got a paycheck, she can't have it.
Now this one crossing to that side. She wants it. Goss got him. Irish whip. Hands on the rope. Good stuff. Boom! I'm sorry, Wesley. Take it off his feet to the canvas.
I don't want to see that.
Hey, referee, disqualify him.
Nevada follows up with a point of the elbow to the back of the neck.
That one was your fault.
Table the champion right off his feet.
You won't be first, but you can be
Goss looking to fight now, right to the face by Vance Nevada. Turns the table so quickly.
My picture's worth more than yours. I get my disability check.
Sound arrow in the corner. Balls up, and he's very proud of himself. Got himself a 2 count, but stood up and got himself a point of the elbow and stern for his trouble. Big impact.
That's your hero right there, huh?
He's the He's an unbelievable position right now. He's myself a real nice situation. Trying to bounce the ball. This is the ball of Braydon Goss. And he squeezes off the ropes. Ducks the clothesline. He's going to try to play it in the Time to battling out that Irish whip once again. Ducks down the cloud front. Spinning that quick from Goss like that.
I hope you got cable TV, because after seeing this, you're not getting any sleep tonight.
Into a pin. Number 2. Reverse chin lock, puts the knee right between the shoulder blades and cranks away. midsection, but cut off. Irish whip by Vance Nevada. Got him up. Mr. Beefy Goodness.
No steroids. You're lucky. You're really lucky. When you grow up, you can be just like me.
Hooks inside leg. Into a pin. Got hooked up, scooped again. What's his plan here? Oh, damage from the backbreaker. And splays him over that knee. Nevada looking to do some outlaw chiropractic work on the champion Goss.
Give up.
Nothing, give up, no.
Give up.
Looking for submission. Goss says nothing new, but he eats a big old elbow in the guts for his trouble. And a bit of a taunt for good measure. Oh! Nobody home! Nevada takes a tailbone full of rain for his trouble. From behind Goss, he's got him up, got him up! Puts him down for the atomic drop. Over the outside, reverse atomic drop. That tailbone missed him. Dennis is making a beating. Goss is on fire. He's got the speed going. He's got this. Irish whip bats off the rope. Into the side. Who's inside? Hey, you open. Down two. Got him up in the corner. Irish whip. Nevada to the buckle. Goss follows in. Very good block by Goss. Who's inside? Hey, you open. Down two. Irish whip. Nevada holds onto the ropes. Goss down hard in the middle of the ring. No connection on that drop kick. Climbing those turnbuckles again. Goss slowly making his way to his feet. He wants to leave here the Big West Wrestling Television Champion. But Goss staggers against that top rope. Nevada falls. Lands in a very uncomfortable position on that top turnbuckle. Able to rescue himself from that very uncomfortable position, but he's also in harm's way. Goss is going to hold it. What's going to happen here? It's not the end of
Eye roll emoji.